So continuing on. By the way, I ramble. I don't write any of this down. I don't even watch my videos back. I just post them because I don't want to. I hate listening to myself talk. I'm sure you guys can resonate with that. You hear the sound of your own voice. And it's just like, I'm not going to edit it. I post it. Like, something's in me to get this out, see if anybody's helped, and just do it. So you get what you get. And like I said, I'm ADHD, so if you can keep along, amazing. You're great. If you watch these videos to the end, there's either something very special or something very wrong with you. You might be like me. But continuing, so I moved back home and trying to get my life together. Basically, it was about a year of putting up a front of hiding drinking. I was going for long bike rides during the day when my mom was at work. I was going to the liquor store, getting drinks whenever I go out somewhere. If I was going to an AA meeting, I'd started looking into AA. I wasn't sure. I don't think I'd gone to AA yet, but I'd started looking into it. I was trying to find a doctor to figure me out. So I go to this doctor in town, and he's very old. I think someone I went to high school with dad, near retirement. And I go in there for the first time, and he's just like, "So what's going on?" And I'm just like, "I'm an alcoholic. This happened to me. I was in the hospital. Like, I can't stop drinking. Like, what do I do? Like, what's wrong with me? Give me a pill. Say, what's wrong with me? Fix it." And so he's like, "Oh, yeah. I've had that a lot, over the years." So he writes me a prescription for Xanax. If you know, it's probably the last thing you should give an alcoholic is Xanax or benzos or anything like that when you're struggling. I don't know what he was thinking, but I said, okay, this is going to calm my mind. This is my answer, right? So start taking my Xanax as prescribed for probably I don't know, a week. And then still probably, I can't remember, drinking in between for sure. I didn't stopped. I was just hiding it and starting to go through withdrawals when I didn't drink. And that's when the Xanax would help. So started taking that, not as prescribed as any addict would, right? Like, I didn't tell him I told him I was alcoholic, but this is kind of right before it started blowing up with the opioid epidemic and pain pills and Vicodin and all that. So it's kind of like doctors just wrote you a script for whatever you wanted, just okay, bill my insurance, Not tearing this doctor down. I don't think he meant any ill will. I just think he didn't know. So started, working things out with the wife. We were still fine as an understanding. We were still okay talking, and started talking about her, moving back home. She was still going to, work in Chicago. She had a good job, but she was going to come back, and we were going to find somewhere to live around Southwest Michigan, which is only an hour and a half drive to Chicago, but there's trains that take an hour and a half, it's pretty much the same as if you live in the burbs of Chicago. It takes about that long anyway. So we're like, okay. She was willing to do it. I was like, amazing. I don't need to be in the city. Had my fun there. Bad things happened there. I just needed to be away. So we found a rental house in a cute kind of beach, kind of wine country area, and got a 6-month lease. And I found a job at a bank in Indiana, right across the border, 20 minutes away. So I started as a teller, a bank teller. I was like, whatever, I'm just going to rebuild my life. I've started over many times. So got this job as a bank teller, go in first couple days, I'm still struggling, but keeping it under control. Whenever I start a job, I've always impressed, I'm just naturally quick with numbers and people like me, so I'm talking to people in line at the teller. I'm loving it, making change, and then things start feeling good. If you're an addict, there's cycles of down and up and down and up, and now I'm feeling good. Now I'm starting to feel invincible again. So I'm like, start feeling happy. That Xanax making me happy. I'm like, I'm gonna have some drinks, at lunch, or So I would usually like probably take a Gatorade, dump out half, fill it with vodka. That was my drink. So one day I'm working there, and literally as a bank teller, I've got a Gatorade bottle with mostly vodka in it and Xanax in my system. And it's fuzzy, but I remember this lady coming in, and I was making, change or cashing a check, and I couldn't even add. And I don't remember how it happened, but the manager kind of comes over and grabs me and takes my drink, pulls me in her office, and sits down, and I'm just like, holy shit, what did I just do? So she's like, are you, what's wrong? What's wrong? There's something wrong with you. Are you drinking? And I'm like, no. And I'm like, in the back of my mind thinking, oh shit, my life's over. I'm going to get arrested or something. So she's like, well, I want you just to go in the back room and wait for a ride. Like, don't leave. So I go in like the break room, and I'm just like, fuck, my life's over. I'm freaking out. So I grab my coat and I go. I just jet. I get on the highway. And I get on the highway, and I'm just like, it's over. I've been trying to hide my drinking. I can't stop. Actually, like probably a week or two, month or two prior to this, I'd been hiding the drinking. I'm skipping back a little bit. I've been hiding the drinking from my wife because I was ashamed of it, and I was trying to quit. I'm trying to quit on my own. Like, I can do this. I gotta stop. So just sneaking drinks, hiding in the house, just drinking enough to feel not sick, right? And meantime, like, I had gone through some hallucinations again. Like, I was seeing things. I was mowing the lawn and thought I saw thousands of tiny little frogs. I was telling my wife, I'm like, oh, there's frogs out there. And she's like, I don't think she said anything at the time. There was another time when her and my dad were at the house, and I was seeing things in the backyard. It was a very wooded, kind of serene but creepy area. And like, I was seeing evil things. I don't remember it, but I remember them telling me. And one night I had a noise machine. I can't, ever since living in Chicago, I can't sleep with quiet. Like, I had to have noise. So I had, at the time, had some sort of wave machine on an alarm clock, and I had these waves on at night, and we went to bed, and I was like, I hadn't drank enough. Like, I was out, or something happened, and I'm just like feeling like shit, and I'm listening to this wave, and I start hearing like voices in the waves, like it's auditory hallucinations. Withdrawal from alcohol is no joke. If you are an alcoholic, I hope you know the dangers of it. I can go into more of that later, but I'm hearing like devilish voices, like, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I just want to die. And so eventually, I guess I fall asleep, and I wake up in my room, and the lights are on, and there's two paramedics with a gurney, and my wife freaking out, and I'm just like, and I guess I had a seizure. You can have a seizure, which can kill you. It can definitely kill you. Alcohol is the most dangerous thing to detox from. Other things can feel worse, but alcohol, you can die. I didn't know this. I'm trying to just stop on my own because I don't want the embarrassment, right? So there was another time where my dad came over, and I was cleaning up the lawn, and he was out back, I was out front, and apparently I woke up by a drainage ditch on the road, like on a gravel road, with a weed whacker like in my hand, still running, and my dad heard it, and he called an ambulance. I had apparently had a second seizure from trying to stop drinking. But I wasn't really being forefront with them, I'm just embarrassed. I don't know if I don't really recall, which is sad, but these things had happened, and at night I'm just trying to stay up later. But anyways, back to the bank thing. So I'm leaving the bank, and I'm like, this is it. I've gone through 2 seizures. I'm hiding my drinking. I just was drinking on a job and got fired. Like, my rock bottom is here. Like, this is it. I'm done. I don't want to do this fight anymore. I can't do it. So I remember I'm on I-94 driving back home, and I call my wife, and she's at work in Chicago, and I just am bawling. I'm calling her to tell her that I'm ending things. I think my plan was to be going 80 or 90 miles an hour and to just go into a high overpass. I just wanted to swerve into one and end it. I didn't want to hurt anyone else. So I called her and just told her that I'm ending things. I just wanted to say goodbye, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But somehow she talks me into going home, or calling my mom and going home. So I did. My mom goes with me to the emergency room to basically help them detox me or whatever. And I don't know, she's got to come home from Chicago and just the shit I put her through. But, you know, she's got to come home, travel home with that. And I remember him at the ER, and her dad came in too, and he's like, what are you doing? Angry, you know. Keep your shit together. And at the time, I was kind of like, what the fuck? You know, but what am I doing to his daughter, you know? And so I get some help, and I go home, and I decide that I have to go to rehab. I want to go to rehab. I'm still alive. If I'm going to be alive, I can't do this anymore. So, time to go to rehab. So it was a few days to get in, and I'm just laying on my parents' couch the whole day and night. They told me to keep kind of drinking, so I'd already had seizures, so I had to kind of get, you know, some alcohol. My mom had to kind of ration it for me, so I could be all right and make it there. So I found a place that was recommended by family and things, pretty famous place in Michigan by Detroit. Same place Eminem went. So I booked a place and made the decision to go there. So we will start rehab in my next video. I'll try and post it not too long, but hope you guys are enjoying this. If it's helping anyone, maybe it's just helping me, and that's fine. But I hope someone can, if you're in the struggle, I know how it is. It seems there's no way out, but there is. You know, when I started this channel, I kind of named it after the Grateful Dead. I've told you guys about my passion for the Dead and all music, but, you know, I've started really listening to song lyrics. Like, something's telling me there's messages in songs. So the other day I was listening to a couple of Grateful Dead ones in particular, and I feel like some of these verses just hit you so hard. From Ripple, one of my favorite songs. Sometimes the light's all shining on me. Other times I can barely see. That's not from Ripple, sorry. That's from another one. I was looking at Ripple below. But that's how my life has always felt. Sometimes the light's all shining on me. Other times I can barely see. When you're feeling on that up, you know, you're feeling good, the light's on you, but for a moment of happiness, if anything, like the light was so gone in my life. The dark, I could barely see. Like, I was in such a dark place that I didn't want to be there anymore. But that song's kind of always stuck with me too. You know, you've gone through a lot, and sometimes it's all good. You can see the way, you know, when you find that right path for yourself, which is kind of the path I'm on now, of trying to find the light again, like I'm in it. But I want to go back through my story one more time and kind of purge and go through it and see if somebody can get help from it before I turn the page. But I'm ready for that light again. I've had so much darkness in my life, but you'll hear the stories if you stick around for the videos, but sometimes the light's all shining on me. It comes back, but I'm ready for that switch to stay on. I think a lot of people are. It's tough. There's so much darkness in this world, but there is light. You know, the darkness is shining, but the light's trying to come through, and the light's gonna win. Of course, the light's gonna win. But we all gotta find our light. The more light we find, the brighter it's gonna be for other people to see. So keep on keeping on. I'll talk to you guys again. Thanks.